One Question is designed to give subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences.
Greetings, this is Ty Brown and welcome to One Question, where we highlight executive leaders in college athletics. Our guest today is Mike Williams. Mike is the former director of athletics at Cal-Berkeley. Greetings, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Now, Mike, you spent 4 years as the AD at Cal. Before that, you were a former debt trader and corporate finance officer at Bank of America. You were also the vice chair of capital markets at Barclays Global Investors, which is an investment management firm. And in your earlier days, you were a wrestler at Cal, and then you also spent time, I think, when you were appointed as the athletic director on the board of trustees there at Cal. And that 4-year appointment just wrapped up here recently within the last few months. And it started off as an interim and ended up being a full-time job for going on 4 years there. How did that come about in terms of you being appointed interim and then going into the full-time position?
Well, first off, you make it sound like you couldn't keep a job. So I think I had a nice steady career path, which led to me having a little bit of time to kind of serve. And I looked very much at serving Cal, because Cal had been very good to me. It's where I'd gone to school. And I was a trustee, and as a part of my service, the chancellor asked me to be on a task force that he had formed at the end of 2013 to look at some of the issues and challenges that Cal student athletes were having, particularly around graduation in the revenue sports and around the student athlete experience at Cal. So I was on that task force, and probably midway through the deliberation, he decided that he wanted to make some changes in leadership of athletics. And it was Chancellor Nick Dirks, who was our former chancellor. And he asked me to step in as the athletic director on an interim basis. My sense was that he saw that I was probably aligned with his vision for what the Cal experience should be and how athletics should fit into the campus community overall. So I think he saw that we were probably going to be a good partnership, and so that's how it got started. He said to me, he called me up and said, do you want to do this? And he gave me 24 hours to talk to my wife, and I came back and said sure. And next thing I know, I'm working 80 hours a week.
Wow. You got 24 hours to make this decision. Do you want to lead a multi-million-dollar enterprise? That means he had faith in your experience, especially with I don't know how many decades you worked in finance and in leadership roles there, but he definitely had faith in you being able to do that.
I think I came with probably three things that he really had some belief in. First, he knew that I understood Cal. I'd been around the campus for close to 40 years. He knew I really understood that. He knew that I had led large organizations as a manager, throughout my career. So I think he had some confidence that I could sort of pick up the basics of managing a large organization. And then three, I think he really felt that, sort of my values were aligned with the way he was looking at the campus. And I think those are the three things he looked to make a decision on. And it was hard for me to say I wasn't aligned myself.
And when he presented to you in terms of those three things would fit you perfectly, it definitely had to be hard to turn down. Looking at that experience, what would you consider the biggest accomplishment? It's not something everybody has a chance to do, specifically coming from a business background. You served for a number of years as athletic director there. What do you think your biggest accomplishment was during your time there? And also, what would you consider your biggest challenge?
Well, first off, it's in so many ways, it's a dream to be able to serve your school, to be deeply engaged in athletics, which is kind of what we all are, to really have a chance to be a part of something, of an experience of the development of 18 to 22-year-olds in a way that's really meaningful. So in so many ways, it's just kind of a dream opportunity. When I came in, the task force was focused on kind of where to go next with Cal Athletics. And they ultimately made 50 recommendations, and 15 of those were specific to athletics at Cal. And so the challenge was kind of looking at where we had been in athletics and in that student-athlete experience and where we needed to go. I was really fortunate to come into a leadership group in athletics that was very focused, very hardworking, and highly skilled. And we kind of looked at where our situation really came to an immediate conclusion that our staff and our coaches were mission driven. They're really there at Cal to make sure that student athlete experience is a great one and to win on the field, in the pool, on the court. So we put together 8 priorities for the department and how we would act. And we wanted to make sure that all of our actions and all of our decisions tied back to those 8 priorities. The goal of giving the student athlete a truly great experience in their 4 to 5 years at Berkeley and winning. And so I think the challenge was we were in a little bit of a difficult situation, but we ended up getting all 15 of the recommendations specific to athletics done. I really credit the folks I had around me to help me make that happen. So we got those done, and the biggest things that we did were we really turned around what had been not the best story around academics. And academics is measured by the academic progress rate, the APR. Some of the things that we did there, football's APR went from being the worst in the Pac-12 to being the best. Men's basketball had consecutive years of perfect 1,000 APRs, and then we were able to kind of keep the APRs in the other sports where they were or improve. So we had this real turnaround in the story of academics in our programs at Cal, particularly the revenue programs. We're able to do that and maintain ourselves as a top-level competitor. I take great pride in the fact that we won 11 team national championships in my 4 years at Cal, and we probably had at least 20. I haven't counted, but at least 20 top 3 team finishes during that same time. We were able to compete in a way that was really what the Cal community would want us to do: win, but win with good academics. We really, I think, were able to greatly enhance the student-athlete experience. Implementing mentoring, we put together a field trip program where student-athletes could go to, well, they still do, go to Silicon Valley or San Francisco firms so that they get kind of an opportunity to see what the job looks like after you've graduated from school. And then really to increase our connections to the academic units on campus, to make sure that we were ensuring that the student-athlete was really having the opportunity to be a part of what makes Berkeley great, making sure our student athletes could, pursue a wide variety of majors, make sure that they could have internships and research opportunities, and make sure that their classmates understood that the student athlete at Cal is really a special person. School, compete academically, and then is one of the top athletes in whatever sport they've chosen. Those are really important things. The chancellor at the time also asked me to help improve the financial situation short term. And so we were able to land 2, pretty impressive partnerships during my time there. One with Under Armour for apparel and brand, and then one for Learfield as our marketing partner. And those are both 10-year partnerships with a significantly increased revenue to Cal. And I think they're, as we look back on these partnerships over the past year, I think they really have come in and understood what Berkeley is, what the Cal community is, and they're doing a great job. And then kind of the last thing is facilities. You hear it all the time, but in this environment, you really have to be able to show, particularly the young athlete and that athlete's family, that you're keeping up with facilities. So we redid our tennis complex. We built a brand new aquatic center. We renovated our competition pool so that the world-class aquatic sports had world-class homes. We upgraded our basketball, volleyball, gymnastics facility, hospitality on an annual basis. And we built new field hockey and other practice fields. So it was a pretty busy 4 years. And lastly, what was important to me, what was important to my wife, was that we had a happy place. We had a happy office. We had a young staff. We wanted to make sure that young people with young families knew that kids were welcome. And it was, my wife made cookies. We always had kids around. We always did whatever we could do to make sure that we were working in an environment that, yes, there was stress. Yes, there were long hours. Yes, it was 7 days a week. But just making sure that everyone felt welcome and that we were enjoying each other's company in the office.
Right. I'd be interested, Mike, to know, when you were appointed interim and you're looking at these 15 things that need to be accomplished, and then you came up with your 8 initiatives. What was your evaluation process when you went in and you looked at the whole athletic department? How did you come to the conclusion in terms of these are the things we need to accomplish in my time here as an athletic director?
Well, it's a great question, and there were three things that I knew I had to make progress on. So I knew that we had to focus on academics, especially the academic progress and graduation in football and men's basketball. Right, had to do that. Number two, we had to have a better student-athlete experience. We had to have young people, 21 or 22, saying, "I got as much from Cal as Cal got from me." And so we had to work on it as quickly as we could. And then third, we had to keep winning. If you're not winning, and I came in following a one-win football season. If you're not winning, then everything else feels really, really bad, if you know what I mean. And those are the three I think we needed to focus on: establishing sort of the community and the culture that I thought was the right one in athletics. It was, focusing on our donors, focusing on the faculty and staff on campus. It was connecting better with the parents of both recruits and our current students. But we had to 1, 2, 3 academics, student experience, make sure we were winning in the places we needed to win.
And when you talk about athletics and you talk about the challenges and the stresses, what challenges did you face that you'll take with you? The challenges and all the accomplishments that you just mentioned, what will you take with you as you move forward in your life and career? Now, in looking at your bio, I saw you retired back in 2009. So this was just added gravy onto your life experience and career experience. But moving forward, how will this experience, the challenges and the celebrations, prove beneficial in future endeavors?
Well, as I joked at the beginning, I hope that this last year is just part of the arc, that this kind of reflects kind of my experiences and what my values are. I kind of have always been focused on kind of the educational experience and educational opportunities for young people, particularly young people at Berkeley. And so, I mean, this fit in really, really nicely to what it is that I like to spend kind of my time doing. The opportunity to kind of directly impact a young person's life, you just can't replace it. I had an open door policy, so if my door was closed, everyone knew I was in there talking to somebody. If my door was open, people came in. And so I had everyone from, field hockey players to, players in sports that you see play on Sunday or 3 nights a week in the NBA, come in to talk. And so to kind of be a part of that and have those conversations you just can't replace it. To have colleagues who are mission driven, there's a lot of great things about finance, but I will tell you that not all of your colleagues at a bank or an investment management firm are mission driven. And so to have the opportunity to work every day with people who are there because they really care and they really care about what they do each day and kind of what the outcome of their day is phenomenal. And then lastly, the camaraderie of my fellow athletic directors in the Pac-12, the constant reminder of why an athletic director does, and to have some real consistency in who my fellow ADs were in the Pac-12. Extraordinary colleagues, and I learned so much from them, and just their willingness to be generous to me, especially when I was starting out. I just want to make sure I have an opportunity to be that generous to the next person starting in whatever it is I do next.
Right. Well, Mike, last time I saw you, you were moving out of the office there at Cal. I was on campus I can't remember why I was on campus, but you were moving out of the office. It seemed like it was a bittersweet occasion for you because you were moving on to the rest of your life. But it sounds to me as you've had time to reflect that experience was the culmination of a lifelong commitment to Cal, leadership, management, and you enjoyed almost every moment, the ups and the downs of your time as AD there at Cal.
That's absolutely true. That's very insightful, and you captured in one sentence that 4-year experience. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, this has been an excellent conversation, Mike. I really appreciate you joining us here on One Question.
Okay, and as always, go Bears.
That was Mike Williams. He's the former director of athletics at Cal-Berkeley. He spent 4 years leading the athletics program for the Berkeley Bears. And of course, this is Ty Brown with One Question. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today. This episode of One Question is produced by Spades Media Group, solving problems using creative leadership.